Dragons are mythical monsters that breathe fire and terror in European stories, while bringing good fortune to Chinese celebrations. From the frigid peaks of Scandinavia to the scorching sands of Arabia. Why do these magical animals exist in nearly every culture on the planet? In today's video, we'll investigate the enigma of the dragon's global fascination. How do cultures separated by oceans and millennia all tell legends about these powerful creatures? We'll explore the interesting realm of dragons, investigating their origins, various forms, and profound significance in human society. Prepare to embark on a journey through time and myth to learn why dragons appear everywhere. Dragon legends are common in many civilizations, from the Americas to Europe, India to China. They have a long and colorful history in different forms and continue to appear in our books, films, and television programs. Where courageous heroes strive to vanquish the animals, it is unclear when or where dragon myths initially showed up. But the massive flying serpents were mentioned at least as early as the time of the ancient Greeks and Sumerians. In his introduction to the Penguin Book of Dragons, Penguin Classics 2021, Scott G. Bruce writes, "During the ancient world, they took the form of enormous serpents ready to crush with their coils and kill with their venomous breath. Throughout history, dragons have been created as being like every other mythical animal, sometimes beneficial and protective, sometimes poisonous and dangerous." China has the oldest continuous tradition of dragon stories, extending back over 5,000 years. Dragons are associated with imperial control and good fortune in Chinese imagery. The dragons of Chinese legend lived in remote waterways and, while usually wingless, could fly. Crucially, they delivered rain and hence the fruits of the soil. Dragon years are the most auspicious of the 12 Chinese zodiac signs. Dragons are still as popular in modern China as they were thousands of years ago, serving as puppet costumes in New Year celebrations, boats in joyful races, building adornments, and a variety of other applications. So, why are dragons so popular? To answer the question of why dragons are such a common theme in fantasy and sci-fi novels, I believe dragons are simply the manifestation of the imagination. Dragons are not just prevalent in fantasy and sci-fi literature, they're a part of history itself. Throughout recorded history, there has always been some form of monster known as a dragon. Some modern interpretations of dragons may not be consistent with all the creatures that have previously been referred to as such. Why do so many cultures have dragons? Assuming that all dragons are the same is too simplistic. The dragons of medieval Europe were frequently fire-breathing, lizard-like animals with powerful bodies, bat-like wings and horns. They're often thought of as evil beings. Folklore stories sometimes feature a valiant hero slaying the dragon to steal its treasure or free its scared townspeople. Even within portrayals of European dragons, there's an abundance of variety. In Eastern Asian culture, the dragon could have a slightly distinct purpose. Dragons, which sometimes have a magical aura, are used as a sign of power, strength, and good luck. Tianlong, the celestial dragon who is claimed to have guarded the heavens while floating among the clouds, is a well-known dragon in Chinese culture. Quetzalcoatl, which means feathered serpent in Mesoamerican culture, is a deity. This dragon-like deity was central to their spiritual beliefs and was regarded as having played a crucial part in the evolution of humanity. There are differences, but the parallels across mythological creatures are astonishing, especially given that these societies were geographically apart and had minimal cultural interchange at the time of myth-making. There are several hypotheses regarding how this convergent evolution of ideas occurred. Adrienne Mayer, a classic folklorist and historian of prehistoric science at Stanford University, has proposed that the first humans imagined mythological animals, particularly griffins, after misunderstanding extinct creature fossils. In this light, it's not difficult to envision coming across the prehistoric remains of a Tyrannosaurus rex and mistaking it for a fearsome dragon-like animal. Another notion is that monsters are an archetype that exists deep within the human mind. Dr. David E. Jones, a scholar of anthropology at the University of Central Florida, claims in his book, An Instinct for Dragons, that tales about dragons are so prevalent because humans have evolved to build a mental imprint of hazardous predators. Jones thinks that the dragon has numerous patterns that our early ancestors learned to fear instinctively. This fundamental drive caused human imaginations to create an archetypal creature that combines all of the most ferocious creatures of a crocodile, a snake, a bird of prey, and a huge cat. Whatever the cause behind this common story, dragons definitely have an impact on us. They've been present for thousands of years and continue to be a source of interest, appearing in some of the most popular works of fiction, including The Hobbit, the Harry Potter series, Game of Thrones, and Pokemon. What if dragons actually existed? Is this possible? To some degree, yes. In fact, the most bizarre aspect of them, the ability to breathe fire, is also the most easily explained. When it comes to true fire-breathing creatures, science first turns to the tiny bombardier beetle, which ejects boiling hot poisonous chemicals from its body when threatened. The method is entirely natural, similar to a squid's ink defense or a skunk's spray, but it repels potential predators by burning them. According to renowned paleontologist Henry G., something comparable could occur in a dragon's throat. G goes one step further, predicting that if an animal could somehow internally mix ethanol and sulfuric acid, they could end up making diethyl ether, which is so flammable that simply spitting it out would ignite it. But suppose these scientifically improbable six-limbed animals did exist. We simple humans would undoubtedly fear them. They'd plainly sit above us and everything else on the food chain, capable of destroying towns, cities, buildings, woods, and entire armies in seconds. There are already lethal animals on Earth, but none are as fiercely hostile, ferocious, and unpredictable as dragons. Gustav, a 6-meter-long Nile crocodile in Burundi, said to have killed at least 300 people, was once labeled the most prolific serial killer alive in real life. There were also the famed lions of Najombe. Some pop culture dragons tap into a more positive aspect of our imagined coexistence. If dragons could be tamed, they'd become our allies, friends, or even pets. After all, domesticated exotic animals haven't been uncommon in recent history, even if they're contentious. There would undoubtedly be supporters of dragon racing for sport, while others would advocate for dragon freedom. Dragons would have a considerably stronger influence on our art, culture, and history in general, and their presence would serve as a continual reminder of our place in the world. They would rule over the earth, which would be both terrible and wonderful. And that's what would happen if dragons existed. As we've explored the mythologies, history, and cultural significance of dragons, it's evident that these majestic animals have left an incredible impression on our imagination. Dragons have captured our imaginations and hearts for millennia, from ancient cultures in China and Europe to the vibrant mythology of Mesoamerica. They reflect our deepest fears and greatest hopes, as well as the risks and wonders of the unknown. In investigating why dragons are such a universal symbol, we discovered how they evolved across traditions, reflecting our common human experience. Dragons, whether as frightening monsters or benevolent protectors, continue to inspire amazement and wonder in both the past and modern popular culture. They serve as a reminder of the power of imagination and myth's eternal character. So, the next time you see a dragon in a book, film, or even at a festival, you'll realize how deeply their roots go in our common history. They're not just legendary beings, they represent our shared human journey across time and culture. Thank you for joining us on this fascinating journey. If you enjoyed the video, please like, subscribe, and click the notification bell to keep up with our latest investigations into the world's biggest mysteries and stories. And also, let us know in the comments below what you think about dragons. Until next time.